God.
Mm-mm. No, that's not fair. That's an unfair advantage in the game.
Well, then I don't know. No one.
No
Yeah,
way.
see?
We have to vote. We have to vote.
This is a dictatorship.
I don't think so. I'm the DM in this situation. It's a game mastership.
Oh, yeah. The DMs always run the actual story.
Yeah.
No.
Basically, they'd be like, "Hand me that character sheet." Rip. Look them dead in the eyes while you do that shit. Just to establish dominance right at the beginning of the game.
That's like a business thing. Are we expendable to you?
See, here's the fun part, is the setting the dichotomy up is you show up, tell me you're in charge, and try to fuck my things up, and then go, what, we're expendable to you? Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
You're fucking my things up. So, I don't know, I think DMs get too worried about like what players are going to say and whine about and shit. And you always have the ability to just use the spell wish to do whatever you want.
I'm just
A
gonna
god can
be
show
trying
up.
to throw myself off a cliff.
What?
Like, in the game.
What if that's not your character's motivation?
It's gonna be. I feel it.
I don't think that's what you're going to get at all. I didn't create a character with that as a motivation, so
What if I only have 6 intelligence?
I didn't create one of those either.
Oh, that's stupid.
So I don't think that's going to happen. It seems unlikely, Plus, that'd be an amazingly quick end to an adventure, and not really an adventure so much as like just I broke everything, look at me, right? And that's when you just go like, now your character's back alive, deal with it, And you make them play them with like 1 extra intelligence point so they don't do it twice. Or you make their character like a really annoying character to play, and then force them to like role play the shit out of that. Right?
Guess so. I don't.
Like you get to be the annoying character from then on. That's on you.
Slack chat. Hello, everybody. We haven't even said hi. We haven't even done anything.
Our bad.
Oh, we've just been bickering.
My apologies. We're just talking about serious things like Dungeons and Dragons. It's important to hash out differences in advance, so later on when I ignore them and kill everybody's characters anyway, it's understood how much of a dick I am. So, I don't know. Hopefully everybody tunes in today, but for everybody who hasn't tuned in, or anyone who's watching on video, do we want to let them vote too, or do we want to do it purely on stream?
I don't know where
Was it a
that fly
bug?
went. Yeah, I don't know where it went. I can't tell if I swallowed it.
No. So there was an old Desmond who swallowed a fly, which I don't know why he swallowed that fly. Maybe he'll die,
Yeah, well, if I do,
Perhaps. Could happen.
I'm not happy about it.
So how do we want to do this vote for real? Like, do we want to do it purely on stream, or do we want to let like people who watch the video later because they can't watch us live vote too?
Usually first session is a lot of the setup, so we could always, we're going to stream it.
Yeah, I'm saying like we got to pick the characters that are going to go into it though, so I could start fleshing the rest of it out,
That's what I'm saying. We just get on stream for that.
Do we want to maybe introduce the characters?
I mean, that we could do.
And let them at least know what their choices are going to be.
Yes, and I'm saying day of, while we're doing the stream.
You wanted to do the vote that day.
Yeah. So nobody knows exactly what they're playing until somebody tells them.
To some extent, I thought we were going to like give them out a little bit in advance. And like...
No.
Then let everybody kind of develop like what they were thinking about playing the character like.
No.
No?
I think it'll be more fun having to do it correctly on the fly.
Okay.
Like the fly that I swallowed.
But we're still going to introduce the characters tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So how do you want to do that?
You're the one that has all that stuff.
I do have all that stuff. How about this?
Not
like, I have like sets of characters for people to vote on. And I can like introduce the characters and then like tell you what they're about. And it'll be the first time you've really heard that much about them. So maybe you can give me some commentary on them.
Okay.
Maybe we can figure out which one you're hoping you get to play.
Yes. And not only that, even though whoever's playing it, including me, knows about the character, doesn't mean I'm gonna get it.
Oh, this is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
So this doesn't help at all anyway, which I like. I like not being helped
That's fair.
a week in advance on something that I have to do.
All right, so like the way I have this set up is the first thing that you have to vote on is a set of characters. It's 2 characters that come as a package, or 2 different characters that come as a package, right? So the first set of them is this dude, Elion Willow something or other. Let me pull his shit up for you. I used
Okay.
a lot of random generation prints on this. So Elion Willowsinger, right? And he is a level 2 bard.
Okay.
All right. And he has a strength of 16, dexterity 17, constitution 16, charisma 18, and a wisdom of like 14. That's pretty
Jesus Christ.
pretty decent. Most of that is like pure coincidence too. So
So these were all dice rolls?
yes, I dice rolled everybody. I didn't choose any of
Goodness.
them.
And
Right.
you got 17?
So there's a lot of like almost unfair ones sometimes. So then description wise, right? So like his background is he's a noble, right? He's lawful neutral. He's 5'7", which is pretty tall for an elf, right? That's a pretty tall elf. He's 85 years old, right? And like I gave them each like flaws, and his flaw is that he secretly believes everyone is beneath him.
Oh.
So not only does he believe everybody was beneath him, but like that's all like built into like part of the notes that I gave for like role playing this guy. So like he's the equivalent of like a teenage noble, but he's not due to like inherit everything. He's gonna be like a steward. So he's like out doing like learning the world pilgrimage kind of shit.
Okay.
Right. But he's like this kind of headstrong, I think I should be in charge of everything kind of human that's an elf. Right.
Mhm.
And with this guy comes Orana Rivergrove, who is a level 2 halfling ranger.
Okay.
Right. So she like is a peasant from like the duchy that this guy's parents are in charge of. So they ended up growing up together and they met each other, but she's not a noble and her family aren't nobles. She just hangs out with this dude constantly, and that's why she's tagging along.
All right.
Right. And she's a badass, right? I'll pull her character sheet up.
Okay.
I got you. Strength 17. Constitution 17. Dexterity 19. Right, because of racial bonuses.
Mhm.
And then a charisma 15. Pretty stacked character. She's pretty dope, right? So it's like those 2 go together as like a pair, right? Because one works for the other kind of thing, right? Then the other pair of those that I have is 2 half-orcs that are siblings, right? And basically, both of them, their parents got killed by like local villagers because their dad was an orc, right?
Okay.
And so the boy of the 2 was like 10 years old when this happened. And he looks much more human than the little girl does, who was like 3 years old when it happened. So she doesn't remember their dad at all, but like he likes their dad like a whole lot and remembers him as like this kind father figure. So that's like what he kind of tries to be for his sister. And he's like a paladin that was a barbarian. She's been trained as a monk the entire time. And she believes that she's been given a destiny to go out and accomplish these things in the world in the name of her god. And she needs him, the paladin, to follow her along, which he's more than happy to do.
Okay.
So those are the 2 sets. Those are like our core team, right?
Okay.
So you guys get to vote between those, right? So then the next set, which I'm not going to tell you why I'm putting these together in pairs. Hopefully that just becomes evident in the role playing. We'll figure it out, right? So the next set is a guy named Brother Roland Brightaxe, and he is a level 2 cleric, right?
Okay.
He's got like a 19 wisdom. Everything else is like decent or lower, right? But his is, here we go. So he's a former soldier that served as a chaplain for a unit that was wiped out by a dragon rider in battle. And so like it left him traumatized, and he's got a severe fear of dragons. and he's really loyal to like his fellow soldiers and warriors because of this, and refuses to like leave people behind. But even though like that's what he was doing, he's like more of a charmer. Like he likes to hang out and talk people's ears off. He likes to hook up, drink a lot, be in taverns kind of guy, right?
Okay.
But he's still a priest, right?
Okay.
He was a chaplain in the military, essentially, right? So if you've ever known chaplains in the military, that feels accurate to me about them anyway. And then the one that you can choose besides him would be Myrdak the Red, who is Dragonborn.
Yeah, I felt that coming.
So Red Dragonborn, right? But also on top of being Red Dragonborn, he's a sorcerer and has Red Dragon for that too, right? So he's got Red Dragon blood, right? And all of his spells are like, for the most part, fire-oriented stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got an 18 charisma, right? Like a really, really high charisma for a draconic thing. And for his description, he was a sailor. Dragon his family is descended from. They killed the dragon, and then they knocked him unconscious and took off with the treasure, and he didn't get any of it.
Okay.
And that's his motive. He just wants his fucking treasure, which makes sense, I think.
I mean,
But
he's a
also,
dragon.
he's like super seductive and shit. Right. But he's also not really a he. He's like a Jurassic Park dinosaur in that whatever you need in the moment, that's what this guy is. He's a reptile. Why not? Right.
That was one big pile of shit.
That's true. So then notes. Doesn't have any of my notes on his character right now, but I'll get those to you later. So that's his whole thing. So you got those two to choose from. And then the next set of them would be I don't remember which one it's supposed to be.
Ice stream.
Oh, here you go. Here's another set of them. So Rose the Butcher's Daughter.
Okay.
Level 2 human paladin. She is in possession of a family heirloom that is a cursed artifact sword.
Mhm.
It has X number of charges. It uses a charge per day. If you let it get to 0, it takes over your body at some point when it's convenient for it, and it kills innocent people until it's satisfied. If you want to recharge it, you have to kill an innocent person. But you're not allowed to tell any of the other players and stuff this. Like, you're playing it as if nobody knows that this sword talks to you. And there's like some other twists with the sword too. It's pretty fucking cool. She's a cool character. She's very tall also. So then like her other one, if you didn't want that, would be Yurik von Speeroff, right? And he is a wizard specializing in the School of Illusion, level 2 human wizard, right? Who was, up until recently, a vampire's thrall. Back when he was like a teenager, he got attacked by a vampire during like some stuff that he was doing, and then he got taken like hostage, became a vampire's thrall, and was enslaved up to the age of like 45. And now he's like a human wizard who's out on his own.
Less hot.
So that's like his whole shtick, so to speak, right? So we got that, and then there's Kesis the Exile, who is a half-elf rogue from Kalimshan, who's on the run from the Thieves Guild down there because she was framed for like some shit she didn't do for one of the Pashas, right? So then either the level 2 rogue, Kesis the Exile, or the other one that I had was Vance the Kraken, who is a pirate. So he's like a level 1 rogue, level 1 fighter. And like basically his whole thing is that he's a pirate because his merchant ship that he was on got attacked by pirates. They killed almost everybody. And then when he got away from that, he decides he's going to go get vengeance on them, and then spends a good chunk of his life as a pirate trying to find these guys and still hasn't found them. So he just decided to be an adventurer.
Okay.
So there's that guy.
I want to be that guy.
That,
What's his dex?
That guy's pretty awesome. I'll pull him up for you. I gotcha. 17.
Oh, dex build for sure. Wait, what's his strength?
17.
Well, it's still going dex.
His
I'm going
charisma's
dex.
18.
Going dex build.
Right.
Gotta go dex build.
And then what else did I have? I had Torrig the Younger, which is a level 1 fighter, level 1 barbarian, who's like a noble of like a lesser house for the hill dwarves that brews like all the mead for like the lead place. And so he's like out on the road essentially because he's just like the embarrassment of the fucking family. So they don't want him around. And then there's Eastwind Moonshade, who's like a half elf cleric slash druid. And let me pull hers up real quick because I don't remember everything about her.
I mean, being a druid is pretty fun.
I agree.
That's for sure. Especially wild shape.
Yeah, so she was a hermit, right? So like that's a big part of like
crab.
yeah, like
Okay.
a crab that's a hermit.
All right.
So it's like you were run out of your village because they were ashamed by the idea that you were mixed racial. That's like right at the beginning of it. And they didn't throw your parents out because neither were mixed racial, but like they still were mad at them, and your parents didn't do shit to stop any of it, right? Like so that's like right out the gate, that's you. And so now like you're just out there at this point with the group, like trying to find friends and shit and not wanting to be a hermit anymore.
Right. Right.
So that would be the other pair. So that's what I got for you. Those are the characters we're working with here.
I'm trying to be a swashbuckler.
The swashbuckler's cool. So when I was designing it, I was going through and I was grabbing because I was giving them all like genders and skin tones and all that shit because it's got all these things to fill out. But I didn't want to choose any of those, so I just started going through like the different portraits they had, and I was like, this feels like the right one for this character, right? So he's black, and he's a pirate, but unlike on Game of Thrones, he's got like black dreadlocks, right? And he looks like a bad motherfucker. Like I think he's gonna be a cool ass character.
That or the paladin.
The paladin's a cool one.
That's a female paladin.
Female,
right?
yeah. She's like
That'll be
6'2"
fun.
or 3 personality traits that you have to like embody with them too and stuff like that. So that's your intro to the characters. If anybody wants to know more about any of them before we get around to voting, you just gotta let me know, and I'll tell you what all is like going to be a part of it versus like what the players have to figure out. Because I'm not going to do all of it, right? That's boring. I think being like, this is your exact character, don't flesh it out. It's like not a cool way to do that.
Fair.
So I feel like especially all those backstories are just vague enough that it's like you can fill everything else in. You just have enough to know what the motivation of the character is. And then just go forward with it from there, right? So who should he play is like the real question.
Oh boy.
Who should we force Desmond to not be like the swashbuckler he's not going to be?
I don't want to be any spellcasting. I hate spellcasting classes.
Why?
They're just boring.
How are they boring?
They're boring to play.
Not if you play them right.
No, they're still boring.
I think you're just spending too much time in combat. Low-level spellcasters get bored
I
in
like
combat
bards,
super quick, right?
Even though they're more spellcast, but I like bards.
I feel like bards, though, like you're playing them like you're trying to role-play the bard. You're not role-playing the wizard, so you're just like, well, when I get in combat and run out of spells, I'm bored.
It's not just that.
What is it?
They're all uppity and stinky.
Bards are?
No.
That's a rough thing to say about bards.
No, sorcerers. Yeah.
So the two
And the
characters that you're choosing between that are parts of the duos, that are like the more dominant member of the duos, I've got a monk and a bard. I just thought that'd be like, I feel like everybody's like, well, we'll have the domineering one be a warrior. Duh. No, that's boring. Also, like, every dwarf is like strong, domineering, I have an axe, I'm tough. I wanted to make one that was like a kind of Friar Tuck kind of feel to him. Right?
Okay.
So that's kind of what I had in mind when I was making the Hill Dwarf guy. Is like he's like a brewer, but like he's kind of a fuck up too, you know? And then the cleric dude, in my mind when I was designing that guy, Brother Roland, right? The idea was like as the character traits were coming out, I was like just picturing this guy being essentially like Friar Tuck if you wanted to bang him. Right? Like he drinks a lot. He likes to hang out in taverns, despite being like, you know, part of the church and shit like that. He considers himself like just one of the guys. Only he's like handsome and like charming too. So you could play that guy. Fuckboy Friar, I call
Well,
him.
how many clerics aren't bad?
There's a bunch of good ones in there. Like
What domain?
I tried to give him like I don't remember what domain. I think war.
War domain?
I think war.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
It's
I believe
interesting.
so.
I mean, he was in the military, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I try to give them all like backgrounds that would make sense for them to be there based on like what popped out for me. Yeah, I figured like I didn't want to choose, well, what was their profession and stuff like that so much as I wanted to be like, well, now that you've given me this outline of a character, I'll come up with a backstory and then hand it off and it can get fleshed out by the player.
Yeah.
The
I like
sword, I think, is going to be an interesting one if it makes it in. Especially because it's just a cursed sword, so like it doesn't matter who's wielding it. If that character dies, nobody else knows it's cursed.
That's true.
Someone else is getting cursed.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that would be perfect. I've got this little concept to it where like essentially like if you decide to kill an innocent person so only one innocent dies instead of a bunch, then you're haunted by its spirit forever from then on out. But nobody but you and the sword are aware that these spirits exist and are interacting. So you have to roleplay the sword and the spirits as silent things that your character is constantly hearing, and your character is what you're expressing to the table. Right?
What if you get rid of the sword?
You can't, it's cursed.
Oh yeah.
Right? You have to go have the curse removed, which we could do a whole thing on, right? We could do that. Not at level 2, but eventually,
Nah.
right?
Full send, level 2, we're gonna go get this thing done.
That'd be amazing if he pulled it off. I mean, I have like a module that I'm going to be using for it that's like a well-known, like low-level module. And I think I'm going to move from that into like some other like modules. But I don't know. You know how it goes. Like you're always kind of off in the fringes, and there's always like extracurriculars that happen that the module doesn't cover and shit. So we'll probably have to fucking wing a lot if we're being honest. So tune in and come play. Like I don't even know who's all is on the stream today, but Will for sure. I think said he would play. So at the very least, we should figure out who Will has to be.
Oh.
Right. We're not choosing. That's not the official vote. That's going to happen later. But like, who would you choose if you were choosing for Will?
Actually, I think Will should be the bard because that'd be the funniest.
Yeah. I think Will is such a domineering personality type. We should make him be one of the secondary of the pair characters,
No.
where it's like you're the one who prefers to follow the other one.
No, I
It'd be
want
hilarious.
I want it to just be bickering back and forth.
I do love the idea of like I just wanted characters who like they had a pre-vested interest in one another that's different from the attachment they had to the group. Right? Where it's like you guys have to role play this idea of like, well, yeah, you're all friends and you all adventure together, but like you guys knew each other longer, you know. And then you're level 2, so you've been together a little while, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't brand new, right? Hopefully we'll have some fun. Or not. If we don't, it's gonna be such a letdown. Like all this time spent for nothing. What a shitty adventure this turned out to be.
What if we all die?
I've got backup characters, right? Remember?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it is everybody you all vote on, anyone who doesn't make it in, if a character dies, we're just gonna pull those and go from there.
At least we start at level 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is a much more fun level to start at.
I agree. I also have another idea for a character that we're thinking about doing something where it's like a, what did we call it? Like a revolving player, right? So like a different person would play this character every time it gets played. And you wouldn't have to be somebody who can make it every single time that way. But the idea would be the character is like the same level as everybody else's, but in a bunch of different classes. And each class has a name and a personality and an alignment and everything that goes along with it. So essentially, this character has DID and is dealing with the idea of having these different personalities. So like the character would have a ton of hit points and shit, but not really have access to any of its other like skills unless it's in that altar. With the idea that you have to roll during moments of stress to see if you switch, and then you have to roll to see who you switch to. Right? I think that beat to be there all the time could still get to play, right, and still get to have fun. But it could be like a really cool, like I don't know, like a proper storyline for it. I don't know, it'd be cool. What do you all think? I think it would be cool. Would you like that or would you hate it?
I would
You can
hate
tell
it.
me you hate it.
No,
He said he hates
that's
it.
a good idea.
I do think it's a good idea.
No, I'm saying I think it's a good idea.
I just love the idea of like you could potentially be in the middle of combat, get hit really hard, have to roll the dice, and then you switch, and now you're a completely different person, and now you have to role play it that way instead.
It's gonna be weird with spell slot. Well, I guess it's fine. Well, it gets real weird with all that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you know if you have spell slots? If you switch?
I
Because
mean, like you'd have the same access that I get when I have problems with it, right? Sometimes more, sometimes less.
what about equipment?
The equipment's whatever you have on you.
Okay.
So like that doesn't change at all. You're still the same body, same person. Everyone else thinks you're the same person. You're the only one who knows you're different.
Well, okay. So I get that. But like, yeah, spell cast stuff and armor classes you can't spell cast in.
Yeah, that would be intensely problematic, right?
That's pretty problem.
I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Think about the idea of like you've been hanging out with this person and you know him as like this fighter that's in your group and stuff like that. And then like all of a sudden they're running around telling you they need help getting their plate mail off because they can't cast spells like this. And you're like, buddy, I need you to pick the sword up and get back out there, man. Like we've got a job to do today. I think that'd be fucking perfect. And I don't know how we're gonna decide who gets to play that one each time, but I think that would be really cool. So y'all should stop by and do that for show. I think that's all I had for today, by the way. I just wanted to talk to you.
Just that update.
This is what I have.
We don't have much going on that front until
March.
next time, really.
Special for Valentine's or like a matching tattoo special. Yeah. I know how to figure this out. We'll sort it.
I see where this is going. Side note, what about equipment, weight, and stuff?
What about encumbrance?
Yes.
What about encumbrance?
Well, for that character.
I mean, you still have the same body, so you can only carry so much shit.
Okay.
If you can't carry the stuff your class needs, that sucks. It is what it is. It's going to be a dice roll. Mm-hmm.
We already have totally cursed item. I was gonna say, what about a cursed bag of holding that knows what class you are? Then you can only access things that you put in there as that person.
What if it's a cursed bag of holding and it knows where everything's at in there, but it won't let you know where anything's at all? So it like will randomly let you pick an item up.
Okay.
So you're just like, oh man, I need my spell components. The tire iron again. Damn it. You know. All right, so here's what we should do. Couples tattoos, we will offer a discount on couples tattoos. Sweetheart Special, offer a package deal that includes a couples tattoo, champagne, and chocolates. I can't legally do that. I can't sell you all champagne. Sorry. Maybe some chocolates if you're lucky, though. And a special keepsake.
There you go.
Right, so we got you. Love letter tattoos. Encourage customers to express their love with a special letter or a symbol tattoo.
Okay.
Could do that, like not a whole love letter, but like just the letter L. That's the only one we'll do. Just the letter L. That's the love letter.
Okay.
Heart-themed flash.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have a gift card special. Nailed it.
I mean,
thank you, AI.
Thank you.
For just doing my whole job for me. Those were unique, well thought out, and different than all other specials I've ever heard.
Well,
this thing is definitely going to take over our jobs, just so you know. As soon as AI is up and running, it's going to spit out exactly what we already said.
What did Sam call you earlier?
Something about Tarzan.
Yeah, you're disgruntled.
A disgruntled Tarzan.
That's AI.
Sam's AI. I could buy that. I could understand.
Oh. Sam is 3 robots in a human suit.
And what we haven't told you all about the D&D game is we're actually going to run the whole thing where like the actual DM is ChatGPT. Right? I'm just going to type in the stuff that's going on and let it determine everything that happens in the game. It's going to be about as random as I can make it.
What about that ChatGPT at D&D?
Up a Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be so pissed if this is a better character, too. 5th edition character that is compelling, but non-offensive. What else? What else should be like our criteria for this thing to make a
That's
character?
it. I would keep it vague.
Okay. Vague chat GPT telling us what it can do. It says there's an error generating my response. Yeah, let me reload this fucking page. My bad, guys. My bad. No, I'm not going to submit feedback. Nobody cares about that. Desmond, you can entertain the people whilst I do this. I'm just going to copy this and reload the fucking page. And then we'll see. If it can do this, I'm going to be amazed, actually. This feels like it would be outside of its abilities.
I did my best.
Eric Lightfoot, a halfling bard. He's a former con artist, but he's chaotic good. He's a small but charismatic halfling with a talent for playing the lute and a tendency to bend the rules. Born into a life of poverty, he learned early how to use his wit and charm to survive. He turned to a life of crime as a con artist, but his conscience eventually caught up with him and he decided to use his skills for good. Eric is a bard using his music and storytelling to inspire others and lift their spirits. He also has a talent for picking locks and finding ways into tight spots. Skills he honed as a criminal. Despite his past, he has a strong moral code and he is good. Attributes: strength 8, dexterity 16, constitution 12, intelligence 14, wisdom 10, charisma 18, skills: deception, sleight of hand, performance, insight, and stealth. Equipment: loot, thieves' tools, a small knife, a set of common clothes, a belt pouch containing 15 gold pieces.
So it pretty much just generated all of that and the backstory.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we could literally do this, just be, hey, generate this encounter. Hey, they're going on a road from here to here. Should I have them have an encounter? Yes, encounters are very compelling and adventurous like to get into them. You should do it with 2 gnolls because they're second level, right? Like, ChatGPT, the DM.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fun. I might have to do that because I think you can get on it on your computer, right?
I'm sure.
I should just be able to type that shit out pretty fucking fast, just like prompts for what I need it to do. That's funny as shit. We might have to do that. Y'all might have to tune in to watch this at least one session. Have ChatGPT be what DMs it, right? Like,
That'd be something else.
that'd be fucking hilarious.
Well, on top of that, why not just what is it? Just have the person for the character that's everything have to roll GPT every time.
Oh my gosh, have everybody use ChatGPT for everything they do the whole game. Right? Oh my god, you know what we should do? We should have a game tournament night, right? But everybody doesn't actually play the board game themselves according to their own strategies. We play like Monopoly, but they have to type into ChatGPT what it wants them to do. And then they decide whether they want to buy, whether they want to auction, how much they'll spend, all that stuff using that.
Okay.
That'd be fucking hilarious. This is brilliant. We came up with the proper use for AI at this point.
Yeah.
Playing Monopoly is the right use for AI.
I mean, that thing had all the stats and everything.
I was impressed, right? Like I felt slightly compelled by the character. Yeah, you know what's great about it? Here's how sad this is. I've been fucking with this thing for a while because I think it's really fun. Tell it like that who is half elf, born into a wealthy noble family, but her love, her excitement, and adventure often put her at odds with her conservative and uptight parents. Despite their objections, she took up thievery as a way to see the world and live life on her own terms. So her family disowned her after she was caught red-handed and has been living as an outlaw ever since. She's a skilled thief that uses charm, wit, and stealth to pull off daring heists and escape danger, and a charismatic individual who can talk their way out of almost any situation. Strength 10, Dex 18, Constitution 12, Intelligence 14, Wisdom 8, Charisma 16, Skills, Deception, Insight, Performance, Sleight of Hand, Stealth, Equipment, Set of Thieves' Tools, blah, blah, yada, yada. Dude, I should have just done this. I worked so fucking hard on those. I could have saved so much time.
It's true.
This is how I'm gonna answer all of y'all's stuff that you like send me every DM from now on. So just be like, oh hey, looking good, and I'm gonna be like, give me a second. What should I reply to a random DM that says looking good?
Oh my god.
Here are a few responses. Thanks. I try to stay looking sharp. How about you? that feels insulting. Feeling good too. What's new with you? Oh my god. Glad to hear it. Anything exciting going on in your life lately? that also sounds insulting. Thanks. Just trying to make the most of each day. What have you been up to? Right? Like, this is how I'm doing my life from now on. ChatGPT.
I mean, it tried. It really did try.
I mean, that's more than I send back normally. I usually just ignore that people sent me shit. So I just feel like this is like that episode of Rick and Morty with the crystals, right? Where he puts like the crystal in his head and he does everything the crystal tells him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, only mine's ChatGPT, right? We're gonna have a wild life. I'm gonna ask it the important questions, right? Like, okay, so what should I do with my life?
Oh boy.
What should I do with my life? Chatbot that uses probably the internet and how people talk to it to determine what to say to me.
Mm-hmm.
It says I should reflect on my values, interests, and passions. It's like its number one thing, which feels, I don't know, judgmental a little bit. Consider my strengths and my weaknesses. Research different career paths. Get experience and exposure. No.
More specific.
That's too much work. I want you to tell me what to do. Right? That feels like an unhealthy thing to tell it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you want a specific answer, but ultimately the decision about what to do with your life should come from within yourself. Here are a few ideas that might align with your values and your interests.
Oh boy.
Like, this thing is so supportive of me. Where are you all the fuck at? None of you are this supportive of me. I don't need a girlfriend. I need this chatbot, right? So it tells me I should pursue a career in something such as art.
Okay.
It tells me that I should pursue a career that allows me to travel and see the world, and that I should start my own business or become an entrepreneur.
All right. Well,
One day, ChatGPT. So, should I ask it if I should go skydiving? I'm worried that it's going to tell me yes. I feel like this would be
yes, you should. Parachute.
okay, so I've got our next big promo, right? Like, we'll have, like, hey, we're about to tattoo this client. What should I say to him? And it's like, you should introduce yourself and your brand. I'm like, hey, I'm Galen. This is Rogues Gallery. What exactly is it you need? And then when they're like, well, I'm looking to get a tattoo, be like, give me a second. They want a tattoo. What should I tattoo on them?
No. Ask this thing, how much for a sleeve?
Oh, man. I bet it gives a really evasive answer.
Tattoo sleeve.
How evasive do you think this is about to be?
I hope it's super specific so we have a pricing structure.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's being really evasive. The cost of a tattoo sleeve can vary greatly depending on several factors, including the location of the tattoo shop, the experience, reputation of the tattoo artist, the size and complexity of the design, and the hourly rate of the tattoo artist. On average, a full-arm tattoo can cost anywhere from $500 to more than $5,000.
All right. Well, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah. Both of those are true that on average it could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yes. So, however, the price can be much higher also. It could be, right? It's important to keep in mind that a tattoo is a permanent investment, so it's worth taking the time to find the right tattoo artist and a design that fits your budget and style. When shopping around for a tattoo, be sure to look at the portfolio of several different artists and ask for quotes from each one. Don't do that. They get so offended by that. For each one, it's also a good idea to set a budget for your tattoo and stick to it, as the cost can quickly add up if you're not careful. I don't like the way it's talking to me right now. Not real happy with that fucking answer.
All right.
What other big...
All right, last... No.
Does it hurt?
God damn.
Does it hurt?
The last thing you have to ask is how to sign off from a stream.
Oh, shit. Are we almost at that time? I'll figure that out. All right, wait. Yes, getting a tattoo can be painful. The level of... I only said, does it hurt? But it knows we're talking about tattoos because it's cooler than Google is, right? So it's like the pain level can vary depending on several factors, including your pain tolerance, which feels a little judgy, the location of the tattoo on your body, and the size and complexity of the design. Some people describe the feeling of getting a tattoo as similar to being repeatedly poked or scratched with a needle.
No fucking shit.
You don't say, ChatGPT, you don't say. Okay, so like it tells you there's things you can do to minimize the pain, like taking over-the-counter pain medication beforehand, right? Like ibuprofen, right? Mm-hmm. Drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated, breathe deeply, relax. You can also talk to your tattoo artist about the experience and any pain management techniques they use to make the clients more comfortable, which is nothing. You should just shut up and sit down and let me do my job, okay? So what were we looking for? We were looking for a sign-off.
Yes.
How do you sign off? Actually, you know what?
Specific.
Yeah. It's going to be like, well, make sure that it's engaging and make sure you talk to the audience. Keep eye contact. Like, it's going to do that, right? Write me a sign-off monologue for a tattoo studio live stream that was talking about Dungeons and Dragons instead of tattoos on their live stream. Right? That feels correct. That's too many T's in the word tattoos. I'm going to fix that, but other than that, that feels good for me, right?
Was it ta-ta-ta-ta?
It was 3 T's in the middle.
Oh, so
Right.
ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Tattoos. So, like, we don't talk about tattoos at all. We're such a
No,
great
it's not.
tattoo stream.
Well, there wasn't much to talk about.
Tune in for D&D stuff.
Yes.
You know. All right, so do you just want me to read this straight as it is, and this is how we're going to do it, and then we'll just turn it off,
Yes.
and that's our sign-off?
Yes, I feel like that is the direction.
Holy shit, yeah, let's do that. Well, that's a wrap for today's live stream, folks. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed our delve into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. It's always exciting to explore new realms, meet new characters, and embark on new adventures, you know? But let's not forget why we're here today. As a tattoo studio, we're passionate about creating unique, custom designs that bring our clients' personal stories to life. Whether you're looking for a tribute to your favorite D&D character or something entirely different, we're here to help you turn your vision into a reality. So, if you're ready to add some ink to your tale, be sure to stop by the studio or give us a call to book your appointment. And if you're looking for your next adventure, we'll see you again next week for another exciting live stream. Until then, may your dice always roll in your favor. And may the ink in your tattoos tell a story worth telling. Thank you for tuning in.
Later.